What's going on, guys? David Falla here. Welcome to another tutorial. On today's tutorial, we're going to be doing mid fade. We're going to do a part, and then the top we're just going to cut it a little bit. He likes his hair the way it is right now, so we're just going to cut it a tiny bit, and then we're going to style it, and that's it. So let's start. What's going on, guys? David Falla here. Welcome to another tutorial. Super happy to be here. Actually, I just went to the gym, so I'm pumped. I'm pre-workout, so I'm ready. I'm super ready for this. So the first thing we're going to do is wet the top. I like cutting the top first. Honestly, since I changed the way I cut, my haircuts have been better. I do them quicker. Clients love it, and I think that's what matters. There's no right or wrong way of doing a haircut, but I think, in my opinion, this is a very organized and very efficient way to do it. So what I do is usually I cut the top first, and then I actually just fade down from there, and then it makes it so much easier for me. So in this case, the client is going to style his hair to the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate or section the top from the sides. So you can see on this side, the client has a cowlick, so that's exactly what I'm going to use to part my hair. And then on the other side, I'm just going to follow the growth pattern, and that's what I'm going to create my section. I'm going to cut the top first, how I said, then we're going to create a perimeter, and then it's going to be super easy to just connect the hair to the sides, in my opinion. So how you can see here, the client has a cowlick, so we actually took that into consideration before when we parted the hair. The reason for it is because we don't want the hair to spike up because we cut in the wrong direction, so we gotta always follow that the growth pattern. So here I'm using my Babyliss FX to create that part. I love these trimmers. If you guys haven't gotten yours, you guys definitely need to get it because they're amazing. So here we're going to cut the perimeter first. This is going to be a block graduation all around, following the head shape, and this is very important because this is what's going to connect to the fade. Honestly, before, this is something I would do, for example, clipper over comb to create that square shape, but now that I learned how to do it with shears, it gives it such a nicer look, in my opinion, because it just has more flow to it, more movement to it, and I think that sometimes, like for certain hairstyles, that's exactly what the clients want. So here we're creating a profile section, and that means that we're gonna divide the hair into three. We're gonna cut the first section that's gonna be right in the middle. That's gonna be kind of like a mohawk type of thing, and that's gonna give us our length on the top. So we're gonna use this as a guide. Remember to consult with your client to make sure that guide is the right length, just because you don't want to go ahead and cut everything and the client tells you he wants it a little bit shorter. So this is the moment to ask the client if that's a good length, and then you proceed from there. We're going to use vertical sections to cut the top, and then what we're going to do, we're going to cross check using horizontal sections. So you can see here I'm using horizontal sections, so this is very important that you guys do it, because unfortunately a lot of barbers don't do it. They cut it one way, and sometimes it's not even. Most of the time it's not going to be even, guys, to be honest with you. Even if you're very precise, sometimes there's going to be inconsistencies, so you want to make sure that you cross check your haircuts. That means that if you cut it vertically, then you're gonna have to horizontally cross check it, or the opposite. So just make sure you always keep that in mind. It takes you an extra minute, but it makes such a huge difference. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to blow dry the hair just a little bit. You don't have to fully dry it, fully style it. You just kind of dry a little bit just to help the clippers kind of cut better, and that's it. Here I'm using my wand with the lever close just to remove some bulk. I did kind of right in the middle of the head just because there was a lot of hair. So and I wanted guys to see what I was gonna do. So here I'm using a number 3 with the lever down, and this is gonna connect to the block graduation I did before, that block sectioning that I did before. That 3 open is gonna connect to that. So this is why it's so much easier to cut this way. Back in the day, I used to cut the sides and I would cut the top, then I had to connect, and it just make it harder. But once you understand what the hair wants to do, you understand structure, you understand shapes, then it makes it so much easier to do haircuts. Guys, I can do this haircut in like 20-25 minutes, and with the same result, and the client is gonna love it because you did a great haircut, but you also did it quicker, right? Not every client has all the time in the world to be in the chair. Some do, some love it when you take longer, but not everybody, right? So if you can be efficient with your haircuts and offer a great service and a great conversation, the clients are gonna love you, and then they're gonna come back to you because you are literally the whole package. So here I'm using a 1.5 lever open, and I'm gonna go just down fade. So I did a 3 open, then close, then 1.5 open, then close. So I skipped the 2 because I didn't need to, and I'm using a 1 lever open, then closed, and then I'm gonna use a half lever open, then close until we get to the machine with no guard. Okay, here I'm using my machine with no guard, with the lever closed, and we're gonna use it to remove all the hair that we left from down fading. And I mean, it's super easy in my opinion, because think about it, you only use the 3, 1.5, 1 and half, and that's it, you're done with your fade. So it's so much easier to do it this way. So here you're going to use your shaver, or some people use it with a razor, whatever you use to skin out the bottom. Go ahead and do that. I like using a shaver just because I think it's just smoother on the client, and also it just makes it easier for me. If you leave a little line, don't forget to use your trimmer to remove that little line. Sometimes I stretch the skin a little bit just to be able to remove the line, but you know, just obviously if you use a C motion for your shaver, you won't create a line, which is important, right? So here I'm using again the half just to retouch the fade a little bit, give it a light up a couple of places that I saw that were a little dark. This is why it's important to use the mirror, or use a camera, or use something that can give you the bigger picture, right? Sometimes when we're doing hair and we're too close to the hair, to the haircut or to the client, we're going to see everything kind of like done. In reality it's not, because we're not going to see the little imperfections that we are leaving, because our eyes get used to whatever we're doing, right? So this is why the mirror is so important. So here I'm the same thing, I'm using the half and just kind of moving the lever up and down just until I get the result I want, and then I go ahead and use the machine with no clip and do the same, open and then close a little by little until we're done. Once we're done with the fade, I'm gonna use my razor to create the part, make it really sharp, very nice. So something that I do is I put a little bit of shaving gel, a little bit of water as well, not too much. You don't want to put too much of it, just to help the razor slide. And then what I do is that once I pass it with the grain, I go ahead and pass the razor against the grain, and this is just gonna give it a very sharp look to it, but also it's gonna make it last a little bit longer. That's something important, because you guys know, if you guys ever had a side part, you guys know how that line only lasts like 3 days and then we'll go back. So this is a one way to make it last a little bit longer, and obviously the clients will appreciate it. Here we are shaping up the forehead, very natural, nothing crazy, just because the client kind of likes his forehead just a little shaped out on that side, and that's it. Just very natural. We don't want to push it back too much, because that's just not what the client wants. The client doesn't necessarily want super sharp lineup. You just want something clean, something a little more classy, and that's exactly what we're doing. So just make sure you remember barber to clean the neck, clean the ears. I'm tired of repeating this, but honestly, you guys sometimes send me pictures and all I see is like the neck full of hair, behind the ears is full of hairs. I'm like, wow, guys, you know, like the client's paying you for a full service, you gotta offer the client a full service. So here I'm using a little bit of product, something with a little bit of shine, and that's it, just to give it that nice look. And that's it, guys. That's the video, that's the tutorial. The haircut looks great, everything matches very nicely, has a nice balance, nice shape, nice fade. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.